first of all, tell me a little bit about the thorn and how you came up with the concept. Yeah, just tell us, what is it?
Yeah. People look at it and think, what is this again? Is it a circus? Is it a passion play? Is it a Jesus movie? What is this? Well, it began about 20 plus years ago as really a drama for a youth group. And it's grown over the last 25 years and morphed into what it is today, which has been described as kind of like a Cirque du Soleil meets Passion of the Christ. It's a 2 hour performance, and the live performance is 2 hours. The movie version is about an hour and 40 minutes. And it combines movement arts, aerial acrobatics, drama, live music, and in the movie version, it also includes dialogue-driven film sequences to tell the story of Jesus. It was originally created for high school and college students as a way to communicate the gospel to them, and now 25 years later, it still does that, but we travel with high-level, world-class dancers, acrobats, performers, national championship quality athletes, and we kind of pull it all together and tell the Jesus story in a way that maybe hasn't been done quite like this anywhere before. So that's what it is. I can tell you the story of how it began if you want to hear that.
Yeah, I definitely want to hear. Yes, tell us, how did it begin? That's going to be so interesting, I'm pretty sure.
So when I was youth pastor 25 years ago, I was a volunteer youth pastor, so wasn't real. I'm not seminary trained, I'm not a theologian. I'm a storyteller. My wife and I were living in Colorado Springs. And one Wednesday night after a youth meeting, I'm sitting on the edge of the stage, and this 16-year-old girl sitting next to me, and she's weeping, she's bawling, and she holds out her arms, and I could see where she'd been cutting up and down her arms. And I looked at her and I said, "You don't have to do that because Jesus did that for you." So I thought, you know what? Next Wednesday night, we're going to do what I called it an illustrated sermon, and we're going to show you the price that Jesus paid because, it was mostly for high school and college kids. I wanted them to see, not to be gratuitous, but I wanted them to know whatever pain you're going through, whatever strained relationship you have, whatever addiction you're trying to get control over, whatever is happening in your mind that's difficult and hard, whatever pain you're experiencing, Jesus understands because he's been here and he endured what he endured, because he wants us to know that he loves us. And when Jesus died on the cross, he wasn't thinking of humanity in general. He was thinking of you in particular. And I wanted them to know that. So I thought, next Wednesday night, let's do a drama and show the price that Jesus paid. And I also wanted to show what I think is the supernatural battle for the calling, the identity, and the future for young people. I wanted them to know, like, whatever it is, like the destiny of young people. And so I thought, let's show the supernatural battle and let's show the price that Jesus paid. And so we did the very first Thorn performance in 1996 in October, and it was horrible. The music was bad. The makeup was bad. The costumes were embarrassing. We have pictures. I'm telling you, it's really embarrassing. But it worked because God loves it when we tell his story, right? Like he loves it when we tell his story. And so that night, hundreds of young people found hope and freedom and life in Jesus. And then the senior pastor said, "Would you do this for the church next Easter?" And my parents actually were both professional stage actors. So I called them and said, "What do I do? How do I make this into a production?" And we did. The next Easter, we created the Thorn first performance. And it's not a musical. So like the characters don't sing. Peter doesn't sing from the garden. There's no Jewish line dancing numbers. It's more like Cirque du Soleil type scenes, and then a narrator that ties it together. And in the movie version, it's a narrator talking to a young boy. We created like almost like a Princess Bride kind of a mechanism where you have this story within a story. And then you watch the story of Jesus unfold through dance and music and aerial acrobatics and all the things that we do. And all those things are just window dressing to tell the crystal clear gospel message of who Jesus is. So that was the beginning. And that first Easter, we did it for the church. And we had a line of cars that couldn't get into the parking lot. Thousands of people came out to see the production. People were parking on the fields and crawling over and under barbed wire fences to get into church to watch the show. And then it grew for about 10 years, 15 years. We did it every year for that church. We had as many as 30 or 40,000 people come to see it live. And then we began to improve the production value and bring in high quality performers. And now we have these amazing performers that travel with us. Now it's an independent production company. We travel with world-class performers around the country. So in fact, right now we have our 50 performers just landed over the past week or so in Colorado Springs, and they're preparing for the live version, which goes to 11 markets this spring after the Fathom event. And we love doing it. We love telling the story in this way that's so different and unique, and kind of makes you look twice and say, what is this?
Yeah, actually, it's really interesting. What you said is the what makes it different is it's not a typical musical. You're not hearing it's not a musical. You're not hearing people sing or anything. It's told by a narrator. And was that something that you were worried about, that it could be, oh no, well, people are used to musicals or musicals on screen. This is different. Or did it work so well that you're like, no, we've seen it work in real life. It's going to continue to work. I mean, I enjoyed it. When I saw it, I was like, this is different. I really
It's
like it.
different. Well, Brittany, this whole thing has been like, I don't know. Is it going to work? Is it not? For 25 years, that's been every year. We're like, okay, is this going to work? Is it not going to work? And so we didn't know if the live show works. I mean, thousands of people come every year, and they leave saying that's not what I expected, and they leave. I mean, they laugh, they cry, they leave deeply impacted, and so we know that it works in a live environment. We had no idea how to translate that to a film. You know, like, how do you grab this immersive experience? In the live experience, like, it is all around you. You might have like cast members walking up and down the aisles, a demon or an angel might fly through the ceiling. There's, you know, centurions with torches and angels with flaming swords, and it's a very experiential kind of environment. How do you capture that and put it on film? And so we thought, well, we'll do the best we can. And the truth is, what you see on film, it's a different experience live, but also we found what you experience in the film version are angles and perspectives of the Thorn you could never experience live. So we filmed for 1 week last year in Denver. We filmed for 3 days, what we call pickup shots or coverage shots, where we filmed all the different angles you couldn't get in the live experience with an audience there. And so there's perspective of, we call it the battle scene during the Garden of Gethsemane, or the temptation of Judas. There's angles that you would never get, or even the crucifixion. There's angles you couldn't see in the live experience. And then we also filmed it with a live audience for several days in Denver. And then we filmed for 3 days in Los Angeles in a studio to capture those John the Beloved and Asher cave moments of the film. And so I think the film offers a perspective of watching it that the live show doesn't, and vice versa. But yeah, the whole way through, we thought to ourselves, is this going to work? Are people going to like it? Are they going to be like, what am I watching? And I think there are moments that are really magical. And there are moments that I'd love to reshoot and do over again. But overall, we're grateful for where God has us, and for the budget we had. I think people are really going to enjoy watching the story unfold, and then watching the story of Jesus and the gospel told in a way that they probably never have before.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that I love that the whole purpose of this is to share the gospel. And could you break down the gospel? People are wondering, when we hear the phrase the gospel, what actually is it? And there may be some people that are wanting to share the gospel, share the good news of Jesus with others, but we have so much entertainment out there that we kind of forget the core of what the gospel is. Can you break it down for us?
Yeah, well, I mean, certainly you've got, and the Thorn kind of follows this a little bit as you kind of watch the production, but we open the Thorn with this, we call it the heaven scene. And it's essentially, what was it like before the fall? What was it like where the relationship that God wants to have with us, where it's not encumbered by shame or sin or guilt or all the stuff of life. It's just this beautiful relationship between the creator and the created. That's the picture we paint in this heaven scene. And then we have the fall, right? And so the truth is, all of us have put ourselves in positions where we didn't measure up, where we made mistakes, we did things we wish we could replay or redo in our lives. And so you have the fall, and all of us are there. And then we need to have some kind of a redemption from that. So there's this longing for God to return, and for there to be restoration. And then of course Jesus comes to pay the price for us, and essentially to take our place, right? So it's like, what can we do to earn God's favor? Really nothing. What can we do to become good or right or perfect? Nothing. We're human. And so Jesus comes to say, hey, I volunteer. I volunteer as tribute, right? That's essentially what Jesus did, is say, I'm going to come and take your place. And he does that to bring restoration, and then to bring us back into relationship with him. And so I think that's what God's doing across the world right now, is he's wanting to draw us back, and for us to realize that Jesus has overcome. There's nothing we can do to make God love us more. and there's nothing we can do to make God love us less. That's the reality of it. He loves us just the way we are. So that question of, am I enough? And have I done enough good things, or enough good things to earn God's favor, enough bad things to earn God's wrath? And that's not the way God operates. God's love is boundless. God's love is incredible. And the thorn hopefully gives people a picture of, this is how much he loves you. And so for anybody who's watching or listening, or however they're engaging with this, just know that wherever you are, whatever your past is, God doesn't look backwards. He only looks forwards in your future. And so we can all take a step today to say, I'm going to embrace Jesus. And maybe you don't know what that means or exactly how to do that. And the truth is, there's no magic prayer. There's no secret handshake. It's just making a decision to say, I'm going to follow Jesus. I'm going to believe that he is who he says he is, that he's done what he says he's done. And then when we do that, even through all of our mess and all of our mistakes, he embraces us, and then we can walk in relationship with him. That's the gospel right there, is Jesus came, paid the price for us so we can be in relationship with him.
Absolutely. Amen. Now, right now, tell us about the Thorn and how people can see it and where they can see it, all the information you want to promote the project. Just the floor is yours.
So, okay, there's two ways to engage with the Thorn performance. One is the feature film version, which comes out through Fathom Events in about 850 movie theaters across the country. And if you go to thethorn.com, then you can find out if there's a movie theater near you. If you click the movie button, it'll take you to a place you can put in your zip code, and you can find a movie theater near you. If you love the performing arts, if you love Jesus, you'll love the movie. And then if you happen to be in one of those 11 cities we're going to, you can actually watch the Thorn live on stage in person. And it's beautiful to watch live. Our cast and crew is here, and most of the cast and crew change every year. We have some veterans that come back, but most of them, it changes. So the actors that are in the movie are different than the actors that are on stage. And these actors that are here for the live show are amazing. They're amazing performers. So that'll be in 11 cities, it's in Loveland, Colorado, Denver, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Corpus Christi, Tulsa, Birmingham, Charleston, Tampa, Miami. I think that's the list. Pretty close. And so if you're in one of those markets, you can come see us live between now and Easter. And then next fall, we'll be touring to the Northeast and Upper Midwest. So we're hoping to go to New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, Washington, D.C., Indianapolis, Cincinnati, and really just kind of, the Thorn's never been to the Northeast. So that'll happen this fall. So the best way to get all the information is thethorn.com, and then you can find out more information there. I would say one last word of encouragement for any creative watching the show or listening. If God's given you music in your heart, a screenplay, an idea for a television show, maybe you have this desire to be a dancer or an artist, or you want to write a novel, like that gift of God in you, that's from him. That's his, we're image bearers of Jesus. We're image bearers of the Creator. And so that thing in you is not by accident. It's not just a mood you are in, but it's actually put there by God. So I want to encourage artists that are watching this to do the thing God's created you to do. Don't be discouraged. Don't be frustrated. And just know that it takes a lot of hours to put in the time. But if you have what Eugene Peterson calls long obedience in the same direction, it will pay off. And he is faithful that began a good work in you to complete it. And so people are looking at the Thorn, some people right now, and saying, wow, where did this come from? This must have been an overnight thing. And it's not. It's 25 years of a lot of mistakes and a lot of tears and a lot of moments of saying, I want to give up. And God being faithful through the entire process to bring us to where we are. So that's my encouragement for creatives. We'd love to see it, the Thorn film or the Thorn live. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks so much for sharing with us, your presentation of the gospel and the way that you know best. And I think that's awesome. And I know that audiences are going to love it when they get to check it out, because it is different and it is unique. And I enjoyed watching the film version, so I can only imagine what it's like live. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And I really appreciate, the fact that our audience is going to get to interact with this, hopefully in person or via film. Thanks so much, John. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Brittany.